Hey guys, I'm back. Happy Autism Acceptance Day. Um, yeah, well, since today is April 2nd, it's Autism Acceptance Day, I'm going to be reviewing a kids' cartoon show called Run Jump Play. Yeah, um, sorry for reading off a script. I'm I had to add a lot of information, and I wouldn't be able to keep track of it without a script. All of it without a script. So, yeah, that's the reason I'm using a script. Well, anyways, I'm going to be talking about why the show Run Jump Play is very, very good autism representation. Okay, so Run Jump Play is about basically the show is about children on the autism spectrum. It's about children on the autism spectrum finding courage, acceptance, and belonging through playing sports. Now, you may remember me reacting to the episode of this show, Rachel Finds Her Sport, just that one episode, but now I'm gonna go really in depth in reviewing the entire, the show as a whole. I'm not gonna say the plot of every single episode. I'm just gonna go really in depth and analyze and talk about why this show is really good and why it's really good about representing autism. Well, anyways, let's get into it. So, basically, there are 5 different episodes about each of the 5 kids and their lives. Now, another thing you guys probably know, it's even in the description of my channel, I'm on the autism spectrum myself in real life. So, right now, as an autistic person, I will be talking about all the reasons I find Run Jump Play to be very good autism representation. For one thing, it portrays the autistic characters as actual people. A problem with a lot of Hollywood portrayals of autism is they're pretty dehumanizing in completely different ways. Like one or two different ways. If you use examples like, for example, The Predator or The Good Doctor, they basically portray autistic people as robots. And then we have productions like The Unbreakable Boy or Music, where the autistic characters are portrayed like pets. Now I haven't actually I've seen a little bit of The Good Doctor, but I haven't seen the other ones. I have heard a lot about it though, and I've watched some clips from them. So, yeah. Well, but the thing is with this show, Run Jump Play, it actually portrays the autistic characters as people. It portrays the autistic people, them as actual people, and they're not overly infantilized, or they're not treated like savants either. A lot of the time. Okay, there's a little bit of that, but not over the top. And they're just portrayed like people who are just a little different in some ways. Another reason why it's really good is the autistic kids are the main characters of every episode. And not the caregivers, like in a lot of autism movies, like Ezra, The Unbreakable Boy, Music. Well, a lot of those films fall into the trap of it being about the caregivers of the autistic kids. But it's actually about the autistic kids. And, the caregivers are shown, but they're just there as, extra support. Each of the 5 kids talk about themselves and how they experience the world and how autism affects them in both positive and negative ways, while also showing it in a way that's lighthearted and how young children will understand. As well as the plot, there are also songs in all the episodes. There are songs in all the episodes. There are 3 different songs in each episode talking about their experiences. and are really good and catchy. And, well, where am I? Yeah. Anyways, so the third reason why this is really good at representing autism is how it demonstrates autistic traits such as, well, sensory issues, like in the episode Camille the Gymnast, where Camille talks about like how bright lights and strong smells give her a headache, and how the substitute teacher's voice and the bell were really loud for her, and because of those issues, she needs a lot more energy just to get through the day. As well, also, Rachel finds her sport. Rachel talks about how the loud noises of the kids yelling, the sneakers squeaking, and the ball hitting the floor hurt her head. It also showed challenges with social interaction. Also showed challenges with the social interaction, like Rachel and Luke not having a filter and saying exactly what comes to mind, and Jack not being able to get the words out of his head he wants to say with people he's not comfortable with, and also being overwhelmed with people trying to talk to him too fast for him to process the information, and his dad was helping him with communicating back to them. It also showed Sanjay and Luke stimming and explaining what stimming is and how it helps them calm down. Now, also attachment to routine. There was also attachment to routine showed, like Jack talking about and showing how his routines helped him get through the day, and Camille being really upset about her best friend being partners with another classmate. Now, I personally have a lot of these traits at times as well. Like, I sometimes get overwhelmed by really loud sounds, like the train arriving at the train station as one example. And I also have and also cars driving by really loud sometimes. I also have a hard time with certain smells at times that other people don't really seem to be bothered by. There are also times where the words in my head just come out and I can't really hold it back, which sometimes isn't good. I also need help with conversing with other people, where I'm kind of prompted to stay with what to say. Often my parents do that. And I also do have some stims sometimes as well. Like, I flap my hands at times. I do some vocal stimming. And, what other stims do I have? I stim vocally. I flap my hands. Well, sometimes I jump up and down a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I rock back and forth as well, as you've probably noticed in some of my videos a little bit at times. But most commonly, another stim I have is like I often like drum on my legs. That's another stim I have. But the most common is like I pace around a lot because it helps me regulate my body when I'm not hyper focused on something. That could also be a trait of ADHD as well, which is another condition I have. I also have strict routines that I like to follow, and sometimes when they break or something changes really fast, like at the last minute, I can get pretty upset and even occasionally have meltdowns. However, one day I don't relate to the autistic kids is Camille the Gymnast. All her neurotypical peers were not nervous about the upcoming gymnastics tournament, but Camille was. I'm actually someone who rarely gets nervous at all when it comes to performances. I pretty much just get excited. So that just goes to show that if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. Another thing is this show talks about struggles of autism, but also strength. It shows negative, like struggles like emotional dysregulation, which is another one I struggle with. It also showed struggles with motor skills, particularly in the episode with Luke. And it also showed like sensory issues I already talked about and being misunderstood. Also in the episode, It also covers masking as well, and Rachel finds her smart when she says, I try to act normal because if I don't, they can be really mean to me. I've also masked at times as well. I sometimes, like, there are times where I do mask as well, but not all the time. Um, yeah. But it also shows very, like, positives, like being very focused, creative, hardworking, and passionate about what they do. I'm not Now, I don't play sports like at all, but I am a very passionate. I'm a trombone player, and I'm very passionate about playing music. And I have other autistic friends who are also musicians. Some are like who I play with in my ensembles. Also, another thing that's really good about the show is at least two of the voice actors for the main characters are autistic in real life. Yeah, they're autistic in real life. Particularly Luke's voice actor and Sanjay's voice actor. There were videos of them like talking about, and their parents like talking about their autism journeys, like also on the Run Jump Play channel. But I haven't seen anything about Jax, Rachel's, and Camille's voice actors. They might be autistic as well, but I'm not totally sure. I haven't heard anything. And they talk about the autistic voice actors. They also play sports as well in real life. They're passionate about it. And onto the conclusion, shows like Run Jump Play, as well as other autism kids shows like Carl the Collector and Pablo, as a couple of other examples, is really the reason it's really good for these shows to exist is because they help neurotypical kids better understand and accept their autistic peers. And for autistic children, it can help them feel seen and heard. Now, I'm well aware that some autistic people don't really have the capability to understand these concepts. My older brother is one of those people. But there are also lots of autistic kids who are perfectly capable of understanding themselves. And whether they're diagnosed as children or even like undiagnosed, it can help them better understand themselves too. Help them better understand themselves. Like if they're not diagnosed and they don't know what's wrong with them, and they relate to those kids and they're autistic, they can come to the realization that they're autistic too. That's just the example. But yeah. Well, anyways, I highly suggest checking out this show. If you want to see very good autism representation. Now, I know I usually don't make this type of content. I usually make content like reactions and gaming and other stuff, but I figured since it's Autism Acceptance and Awareness Day, and I haven't seen many autistic people, if any. Well, I think I've saw like one or two, but that's about it. That they weren't really in depth. But not many people have reviewed this show, so I figured I would review it. And with it being Autism Acceptance Day, I figured this is a really good opportunity. But yeah, I highly suggest checking out this show if you're autistic. Even if you're an adult, it'll feel good to see very good autism representation for once. Well, there's other stuff too, but it'll be good for them to see it. But yeah, anyways, happy Autism Acceptance Day, to all of my fellow autistic people in the world. So yeah, anyways, bye.